It's currently around noon Eastern Time, June 24th, and we're seeing history in the making as the Wagner Group, the private Russian paramilitary organization, and the de facto private army of Yevgeny Prigozhin, is advancing towards Moscow. If they successfully reach Moscow City, this would be the first large-scale military assault on the Russian capital since World War II. Senior Russian military officials, including Russian Lieutenant General Vladimir Leskiev, are calling this a coup d'etat against Russian President Vladimir Putin. Moscow is reported to be beefing up defenses and barricades around the city. Crews also dug up parts of highways in an effort to slow down the advancement of the Wagner army. Moscow Mayor Sergei Sobyanin urged residents not to drive and said key city services were on high readiness. Russian military commanders have urged Wagner fighters to stop before things escalate. Developments are happening live, so by the end of this video, more events would have already happened. Hit that subscribe button to get notified as this progresses. Reports claim that Putin himself has fled Moscow, as his presidential plane left Moscow Saturday morning, headed towards St. Petersburg, although it was reported that the plane disappeared from radar shortly after taking off. Meanwhile, the Kremlin has denied that Putin fled Moscow by plane. Prigozhin, a former close ally of Putin, declared in a speech yesterday that Putin was deceived by the defense ministry to attack Ukraine on false premises. Take a listen.
Обороны, оно тщательно обманывает президента, и президент получает те доклады, которые никак не соответствуют действительности. Формируются две повестки. Одна на земле, другая на столе у президента. И поэтому мы целыми днями слушаем про 60 уничтоженных леопардов, про 3000 уничтоженных солдат противника. Министерство обороны пытается обмануть общественность, пытается обмануть президента и рассказать историю о том, что со стороны Украины была безумная агрессия, и они собирались вместе со всем блоком НАТО на нас напасть. Поэтому спецоперация, так называемая 24 февраля, она была начата совершенно по-другому.
Earlier Saturday, Prigozhin announced that Wagner forces entered Rostov-on-Don, a city in southern Russia about 1,000 kilometers from Moscow.
Мы находимся в штабе, 7 часов 30 минут утра, под контролем военные объекты Ростова, в том числе аэродром. Самолеты, которые уходят для боевой работы, уходят штатно, проблем никаких нету. Санитарные борта уходят, проблем нет. Все, что делается, это мы взяли под контроль, чтобы штурмовая авиация не наносила удары по нам, а наносила по украинцам. Главный штаб управления, главный пункт управления работает в штатном режиме. Проблем никаких нет, ни один офицер не оторван. Поэтому, когда вам будут рассказывать о том, что ЧВК «Вагнер» помешало работе, и поэтому на фронте что-то посыпалось, на фронте посыпалось не поэтому. Когда мы пришли сюда, то мы еще раз подтвердили много новое. Огромное количество территорий потеряно. Солдат убитых в 3-4 раза больше, чем это в документах подается наверх. А то, что подается, это в 10 раз меньше, чем говорят по телевизору. Санитарные потери в день составляют некоторые дни до 1000 человек. Это убитые, без вести пропавшие, раненые и так называемые отказники, которые отказываются не потому, что они струсили, я уже говорил, а потому что у них выхода нет, боеприпасов нет, управления нет. Начальник генерального штаба бежал отсюда, как только узнал о том, что мы подходим к зданию.
President Vladimir Putin addressed the nation last night, promising decisive retribution against the Wagner Group, who, according to the Kremlin, has committed treason.
Russia is engaged in the fight for its future, repelling aggression. Practically, the entire military information and information might of the West has been sent against us. We're fighting for our independence, for our right to remain Russia, a country with thousands of years of history. Today, the fate of our people is being decided. We need the consolidation of all forces. Everything has to be discarded that weakens us. Anything that can be used and is being used to subvert us from within. And therefore, any actions that split us is a betrayal of your people betrayal of the comrades that are fighting on the front line, a knife in the back of our people. And this was struck Russia in 1917, when Russia was waging the First World War, and victory was stolen from it. Politicking behind the back of the army and the people turned into a huge upheaval, the destruction of the army and the state, the loss of huge territories. As a result, it was tragedy, Russians killing Russians, civil war, and benefit was derived by various political adventurers, foreign powers that are tearing the country apart. We shall not let this happen again. We will defend our people and our state, including against internal strife and betrayal. And that's what we're facing, betrayal. I shall repeat, any internal mutiny is a serious threat to our state, our nation. It is a blow to Russia, a blow to our people, and our actions to defend the state against this threat will be harsh. Those who consciously chose treason, blackmail, and terrorist methods will be inevitably punished. They will answer before the law and before our people. The armed forces and other state authorities have received the necessary orders. Additional measures of an anti-terrorist nature are now in force in Moscow region, and other regions. Resolute action will be taken to stabilize the situation in Rostov-on-Don. It remains difficult. In fact, this government and military administrations have been blocked. As the President of Russia and the Supreme Commander-in-Chief, as a citizen of Russia, I shall do everything to defend the country, to defend the constitutional system, life and security, and the freedom of people. Those who organized and prepared the armed mutiny, those who took up arms against their comrades, have betrayed Russia and will answer for it. Those who are being drawn into this crime, I urge them not to make this irrevocable mistake and stop taking part in the crime. I'm sure that we will preserve and defend everything that is sacred to us, and together with our motherland, we will overcome any trials and will be even stronger.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky responded to this in a tweet saying, "Everyone who chooses the path of evil destroys himself. Who sends columns of troops to destroy the lives of another country and cannot stop them from fleeing and betraying when life resists? Who terrorizes with missiles and when they are shot down humiliates himself to receive Shahed drones? Who despises people and throws hundreds of thousands into the war in order to eventually barricade himself in the Moscow region from those whom he himself armed? For a long time, Russia used propaganda to mask its weakness and the stupidity of its government. And now there is so much chaos that no lie can hide it. And all this is one person who again and again scares by the year 1917, although he is able to result in nothing else but this. Russia's weakness is obvious, full-scale weakness. And the longer Russia keeps its troops and mercenaries on our land, the more chaos, pain, and problems it will have for itself later. It is also obvious Ukraine is able to protect Europe from the spread of Russian evil and chaos. Meanwhile, there has been no official response from Chinese officials. We've yet to hear from leaders of other nations as well. Many questions still remain, as this is a developing story. What are Putin's military options at this point? Will he use tactical nukes? Analysts are saying that the nuclear option is unlikely and off the table, as not only does Putin not gain an edge on the battlefield with nukes, it will also make him appear weak and not in control of his conventional forces. Will Russian forces be pulled from Ukraine to defend Moscow? And how can Putin survive all of this? Stay tuned for more.